brokerage called EXP Realty, #1 brokerage here in uh, over Houston. I help families with purchasing their first home. Uh,
What else can I say, huh? Real estate is fun. I love it. Opportunities that are there for you as well. I'll pass and share the mic to the brother here.
Salam alaikum. I want to thank the community for giving me the opportunity to come here today. I'm part of the community, it's just that I'm always at the back. But I know most of the things that is going on in the community. So I've been in real estate for over 15 years, and Williams. Experience matters a lot, and I'm happy that I'm making. So I'm here to 5 million sales. This year, I'll be doing more than that.
Good. All right. So at least now you are, our brothers. And then we also have, some of us that are trying to get into real estate like me, and we are learning from under the likes of Baboye, learning from the likes of Aziz Elegbeji, Wale Lawal. We have quite a number of people that are into real estate in the community. So if we have to make this...
Brother, can you hear me?
Minutes. We're fairly represented by the brothers we have, and the justice they will be doing for us. Please get your questions ready. If you're buying your home for I want to believe we're good to go. We have our brother Mohanad. He's from so I know the last time we had this discussion, there were a lot of things that came up, like okay, Islamic financing options. He's gonna introduce himself, and then he's gonna run us through some couple of. And then anyone that have answers not on the floor can answer the questions that may come up. Okay? Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me, brothers? Brothers, can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me, brother?
Okay, bring it, bring it. Bring the phone.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Everybody can hear me?
It's a struggle.
Assalamu alaikum. We are using WhatsApp here. Can everybody hear me?
We're struggling to hear you. Okay, so yeah, just on the side, we'll try to fix that. Just hold on, Brahman. First question. I see questions that go ahead. You first. Okay.
Martin, on behalf of somebody else, I see a lot of people outside the country coming up to pick up answers. Because buying houses most because they can afford to hire somebody that nature. I think people are doing at I want to explain to us what is the downside. People will look at the factor before they involve. A lot of people we only talk about the on your real life experience, what experience you have had about the downsides of going home. I know it's upside down asking you as related to the back side of your business, but I think it will be a way for people to take.
So the biggest thing everybody and just seems is the maintenance side. And we all know with cars, we have to maintain the car. We have to do oil change, buy new tires. If the starter goes out, we have to change the starter. Well, guess what? Same thing with homes. I think a lot of us, we forget about that. You know, there's plumbing issues that can arise. There's electrical issues, AC issues, roofing issues. Uh, One shouldn't forget about the maintenance because
The most important thing I will always advise people, I mean, you know a bit about the positive before I talk about the negative. We all know a lot of people flocking of companies into Houston and into investment. Houston happened to be the fourth largest city in America, and the weather condition and the economy of Houston is making a lot of people relocate. And I can, even with my conviction that investing in real estate is the best investment you can ever have. It is the only investment that can give you between 8 to 10% return on your investment. That is if you work with the right person and you do the right thing. And just like my brother said, everything that you are doing needs maintenance. But at the same time, when you want to go into a business, it's always advisable, or you want to go into anything investment, it's very important for you to meet experienced people that is going to tell you the truth and who knows about what you are going to go into in. Because I can tell you in real estate, you can never have one same transaction. You can never have one same transaction. So everybody have different experience, different conditions, different situations. So that's the only thing I can say. Maintenance has a lot of things, but when you meet experienced people that can guide you all right, then there's no problem about that.
I think I could also add.
You want to change position? Because I understand the sun is. Oh, it's okay.
No, it's okay.
They walk outside.
Okay. Let's get going.
Another item that I think folks need to pay attention to when they're purchasing property is the property taxes. A lot of times I work with foreigners from all over the world, and they just can't understand how high our property taxes are for home ownership. Like the brother here said, if you're going to purchase property, make sure you key in on how much the property taxes are. Property taxes are based on property tax rate in your jurisdiction. So if one is looking for an investment property, I would advise that you go search areas where the property taxes is very low. So that way it doesn't eat into your profits and your costs.
Yeah. I think we kind of dwell on that question. So you will be after Sean. So.
So on my question, your response to other states, right? New York, California, places, right? Kind of look into the property. Yes, the property is to 18, right? But if you look into property tax, Syria, they're extremely low compared to all so, for example, somebody you buy a house like $8,000, pay taxes, right? So, compared to somebody that pay mansion, or maybe a house of let's say $100,000 mansion, right? Like $1,000. So, in terms of business, given that okay, yes, it's cheap, but it is higher, right? So that's one that for as much as that. Then the second that risk that is okay, buying a house maybe as a foreigner coming to invest in another country or coming here, right? What are the conditions like? Okay, did they have to pay cash, or maybe what are the conditions attached to them buying property in that particular locality?
Buying properties in United States, you don't basically have to be a green card or a citizen to buy a property in United States. Once you have your cash, you can buy a property. The essence of being a green card holder or a citizen is because when you want to get a loan, without you being a green card holder or a citizen, you cannot get a loan. But nowadays, There are other what we call third-party financing that if you can put 20% down, they are dealing with other categories of people that wants to buy a house. In respect of buying a property in New York and buying a property here, why it is so different is that Texas, every state have their own laws. And in Texas, most of the properties have homes, we have home HOA. And this HOA, their duty is to maintain the value of your house. And in Texas, there are initially just two incomes that comes to the state, the oil and property tax. And so those are the two incomes that is being generated in Texas. So it's been a long time that the property tax has been in existence. And when you are talking about property tax, it's also depend on the locality or the subdivisions that you are going into. But when you want to go into investment, it's very, very important that you meet somebody that has a lot of experience, because investment, there are so many different things that you have to look at when you want to invest. So it's not only about the property tax. You can go to an area that the property tax is 8,000, but if the rentals there are so high, and you are able to, when you to do investment, you need to calculate all your expenses first and look at what you are going to gain after the expenses. So for you to invest, you need to know those information. And when you are also, you need to know which area you are buying, what kind of houses you are buying, and it's a lot. There's a lot of things that surround it. It's not just that you just go because in New York the property tax is low, so I'm going in there, or because I'm in Houston, I want to buy a house and I want to renovate it and put it into rent. No, there's a lot of there's a lot of thinking. When you get to a particular number in your investment, it will be reciprocating, it will be multiplying. So if you are not really ready to go into that and you just want to do one or two, also you need a good advice for that.
In retrospect to if one should buy a property in Houston or New York. Yeah, well, what I've seen here lately is that a lot of folks from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., the whole East Coast, including West Coast, they're all coming here because they realize the state tax is killing them. Yeah, we may have property tax and it might be a little higher, but their state tax, income tax, and property tax is killing them, and their housing is 2, 3 times more than what they can find here in Houston. So you're seeing a lot of folks from these East Coast and West Coast states moving to Houston, and it's because the property tax is not bad. Yeah, it's a little higher, but it's not bad. But we don't have the state income tax. Yeah, even investments too.
We'll get into it. There's a lot of people that. Okay, so please just skew a little bit to the right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think it's Dr. Delamid now.
Assalamu alaikum. So just quickly first, I can relate to when you say it's fun and you like dealing with real estate because I'm also an investor. I went to school in Canada, and before I graduated school, I had bought like 10 properties, and it was like when I got that first one, like, oh, me, I own this one. And this year, I just kept on getting properties. So I was in school, I bought 10 properties before I bought my home because I was living in the basement, renting a room. I had 10 properties, nobody knew. But with regards to, so with regards to the challenges, I just wanted to make comments quickly on some of the challenges you mentioned, rightly, expenses like maintenance, understand your expenses, maintenance, insurance, and all that, the taxes involved. You mentioned maintenance. There's also a very important part, which is when you're dealing with your tenants. Um, Before I even go there, like one of the great things about investing in real estate is that the mentorship thing you mentioned is important, but you have a whole group of people, professionals, that are doing what? They're just working for you. And you don't have to pay them until you actually have the property. That's the good thing. They will work for you. The realtor, they'll work for you. The lawyer, the title company, all of them, they're working for you. The important thing is you have a mentor and have a good list of professionals that you've actually maybe tried to talk to before you start investing. And you've gotten to know them, you already have a relationship with them. If you're getting a man you want to be in, are you buying commercial? Are you buying their expertise in various areas? I bought one commercial when I was in Canada, and I loved it. Triple net lease with the commercial, the tenant pays maintenance, he pays your insurance, he pays your taxes, they pay tenant relationships that how very important they are, and understanding the laws of wherever you're going to invest in. Understand the law of the state because they all have different laws. If you do something to the tenant, especially in the states where everybody sues everybody for any small thing, if you do something that goes against the law, tenancy laws, that you could be finding yourself with a huge cost. Now, areas like I'm not sure about Houston, but there are areas around the country whereby you can buy duplex and have tenants paying you. But with regards to people getting what can you do to prevent liability on yourself, such that if there are ways in which you can actually structure your deals such that you don't have to deal with that, and then have more.
Yes, that is true. Good question. So want to do to protect yourself when you're dealing with tenant landlord relationship is to make sure you're set up in the right corporation. Instead of purchasing the home in your individual name, we advise for one to set up an LLC. Okay, so in case, let's say, God forbid, there's a fire and it's because of faulty wires that well, you don't want the tenant to come after you and sue you to where you can lose your personal items, your property, your just your personal interests. So what we do is we tell folks to set up an LLC so they can only come if they sue you, they can only come after the LLC and whatever the LLC worth 10,000. Well, that's all they can come after. So that's one way we advise folks to
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think let's get Babu. And then I have people. Okay. So don't let me lose count. Where they are stop loss. You are next. Dr. Kamaldeen.
Just want to follow up on Abdul Sabur's question about downside.
Yo, I think this mic is better.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow up on Abu Sabur. And this is your first time you want to start, I will encourage you to property under property yourself, because you're going to be running yourself crazy when stuff starts happening. You want to maintain the house, but you don't have the professionalism of doing what needs to be done. So put your property under property management. There are so many of them. They will, just like in Nigeria, they will say caretaker. Is that what they call them, caretaker? Yeah. The landlord don't have to sweat. Let the property management deal with the tenant. So that is what I want to put into what the Sabur was trying to look for in terms of the downside. So if any other question I can add to it, but that's the main thing.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that, Baba. Okay. All right. So, what should I?
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. I have two questions. Right now, it appears like the property market is kind of hot in terms of pricing for people that might want to whether buy for investment or buy for residing in it. So I want to ask: is there a good time or bad time to buy? I've heard people saying this is not a good time to buy because maybe I should just wait another year. Why should I pay premium now, 20% higher than what it was 18 months ago? Is there a good time or bad time to get into property buying? That's one. For investment purpose, there are a lot of good stories, but one barrier to getting into property, maybe we can leverage your experience and those who have been into it. What is that minimum entry level that you have to have in terms of financial muscle? Do you how much do you have to have in the bank to even start to think that, okay, it sounds like a good idea, should I go into it, am I ready? So what is that threshold? What do you need to have to be able to even start thinking, do I have a potential, or Assalamu alaikum.
From my experience, there is no particular time that you can really fix to say you want to buy a house. The value of houses appreciates every time. And what really happened now, why we're having this situation, is because of three things. First, the interest rate is still the lowest ever in United States. So, and that's the reason why a lot of people wants to buy. Normally, there's a balance between resale and new build. When at this situation, what really happened in the past 6 months or so is that when a lot of people refinanced their house and got a good mortgage, very nice, low cost, they change them to sell. And its demand and supply is what drives everything. And unfortunately, this COVID came. For 1 year, the whole world was stand at still. So most of the materials that needs to be produced for new houses were not produced. So the big builders who have already were the only advantage. So went up. And because the cost of material went up, the builders have to balance their sales or sell. And with the resale not in the market, that is why we have the situation we find ourselves right now in. I could remember about 6 months ago, I was telling some of my clients to buy, and they were saying, oh, they want to wait. They feel that there's going to be a crash and something like that. And now, I mean, 3 of them bought their houses almost 40,000 more than what they would have paid before. So there is no real, in fact, if somebody, sometimes people tell me, can I predict what is going to happen next year? And I tell you, I'm not a prophet, I cannot. Everything is based on the market, the condition, supply and demand. That is what is it. But the only thing I can say is that for investors, I always try to advise some of them that November, December, October, November, December, especially November, December, to move, especially the Asians. There are people that have that cultural thing that I have to move to another house next year. I don't want to live in this house again and things like that. So, but there's no guarantee for that.
Yeah, I can add to that. Yes, so that is the what I say the $1,000,000 question that everybody wants to know. Hey, is it a good time to buy now? Is the market going to crash anytime soon so I can take advantage? And like the brother said, when people ask me that question, I always tell them the time to buy is now, because real estate, it doesn't crash. Well, maybe back in what, 2008 or so,
during the subprime. Yeah, right. But moving forward, I can't see the market crashing. I mean, you look at the big institutions, they're all pumping their money away from the stock market into real estate. You see folks from California, New York, they're all moving to Texas. You see folks from Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Canada, they're all coming in buying properties. So when folks ask me, "Hey, do you think next year will be a good time to buy because the prices may come down?" I tell them I don't think so. The time to buy is now. And I had the same experience with some folks earlier this year or last year who said, "Hey, I'm going to wait. I think the prices will come down." And guess what happened? The prices went up 30, 40%. So, I say the time is now.
Don't you think there's a kind of temporary impact now, with COVID and the material chain,
Everything
like
is
that? It's
stabilizing now.
So
It's
thinking
stabilizing.
definitely.
Going up, and I don't see it coming down for those.
Alhamdulillah, I think we have. Oh, okay.
The fact of the case is that a lot of people look at videos and internet and see a lot of what is going on with flipping. To their head that I can just buy a house and flip. And in this business, being that I'm a Muslim, I always put at the back of my mind that whatever advice I'm going to give you, I'm going to account for it. And that's the reason why most of my business are referrals, because of what I've done. A lot of people have come to me, they want to flip, they want to do flipping, and when I ask them, do they know about flipping? And they tell me this is what they see from the TV and all the thing like that. It's not as easy as what you think. They are not telling you the other side of flipping, and they've not even told you what it entails to flip. But if you just go into it, for me personally, if anybody wants to go into investing in real estate, interest rate you're going to pay is going to be more, because that is not your residential home. My first time, I normally advise those going into investment for the first time is that when you want to invest in a property, most investors, they have their limit of what they're looking for. I, as an agent, will not advise you to go and buy a 1960 or 1970 house or 1980 house. Most investors, they look for anything from 2005 and above, and they have their numbers. So, and if you want to buy, at least you need a home that the maintenance is going to be low. So the newer, the better for you. And there are some other things too that I can tell you to make your home, free of so many things. So if you are talking about you really want to buy a home, I would say right now with the condition in the market, you want a good home that is going to be easy for you and everything. I mean, you should have about between 200 and 250. That's my own. But if you want to flip and I have other things to tell you if you are ready to flip. What there are other things, if you have it, to buy a cheaper that you want to maintain. But at the end of the day, when you look at the idea is in 10 years' time, if I want to sell, what's going to be the value of that property? So at the end of the day, you know, so
Yeah. And I think it's been a very good discussion we're having so far. We're just 6 minutes into Salatul Zuhr. So, and I have 3 people. So I think, Aziz, I'm going to skip you so I could take care of that one easily. Well, I haven't called you though, but it's fine. You're next. But please, let's make the answer swift. So after
in real estate, you're talking about properties specifically. What about buying lands? Any guidance? Any does it make sense to buy land versus the house, or there's a preference, or there is one is better than the other, or it doesn't matter? That's number one. Two is, where is New Easton? If my friends over there, they have idle cash, 500,000. I think they're going to need them. God spending our life in the next 5 or 6 years. Where does it make sense to invest? To Austin, or we should go to 288 South, or it doesn't really matter, or we should stay inside Bisonet, Belia, Bishnot. Where does it make sense to plan the money? Akim Shimudam. So
I think I queue on that question as well. So let's make it swift.
That's a very good question. Because of ExxonMobil and a lot of companies that moved into Springwood, now they call it City Place, most investments are between I-45 and 290 upwards. And that is where the value of properties are very high, even with homes too. If you want to buy land for investment purpose, there are a lot of questions you need to ask yourself. Investment in land has its own ups and downs, in the sense that it takes a longer time to yield. It takes longer time to yield, and the more you have, the better. But the most important thing when you want to invest in land is you need to have a first-time information about the land you want to buy. But most lands that are very close to the highways are good. But the most important thing again is, how long do you want to? Because for a land, it may take 5, 10 years and more. Although the advantage of it is that if you put it as an agricultural land, you are not paying anything on it. All you need to do is just put 1 or 2 cows in there, and that is it. So the most important thing is to know the right land to buy. If you want to buy inside the city, most of the lands are already very expensive. The location that matters. And like I say, do you have the information like CBS, Walgreens, or a bank, or somebody is going to build Amazon, they are building just like what is happening. Are they building something close to that place? And at that time, if you have a land in that place, you are lucky you can get into it. You know, so that's the question.
Okay. So if you are looking for where to buy land, and I'm being serious now, and you want some information on where some industrial facilities are getting built, please reach out to me. No, it's not for you. We will do business.
Assalamu alaikum. Just to add, not questions, from experience. Mashallah, Jibril, I've been working with him for quite a long time. Except it depends on how big. If you have really large, investment. Other than that, you have to pay their services. Everything you end up, having actually packed up. So maintenance issues, wherever you are, it's on you. Pay their services as well. Pay them some percentage of that. So if you really have time, you can, you can easily manage in the age of technology right now. Okay. So I have that experience as well. But of course, if you're really tied up, you cannot, do the management. Then you can, okay. Now on the LLC, yes, I will advise, as it's been advised, but make sure that, if you can, open up as many as you can of LLCs if you have many properties, and to reduce your losses, have one LLC per property. So if anything happens, that LLC owns that property, and they take care of. But if you have all your property on one LLC, then they take care of all your property, even if one is affected. So just take note of that. I think when to buy, how much to have, it depends on what you want to buy as well. It depends on the location. Anyway, I discussed with Jibril before, you can buy property 10,000. It depends on what you want to buy, your pocket, when you want to start. It depends on the area. Some you have to have millions. Some you have just a few thousands. So, Assalamu alaikum.
Your question, is it a contribution or question? And it will be the very last one, inshallah.
If you rent as a Section 8, which means you're renting to government rentals, versus because government is kind of guaranteeing money, right? But the other guys, just let me know what the difference are and what's beneficial in it, inshallah.
Maybe 15, 20 years ago, renting to Section 8 is a good deal, because at that time, government also give you maybe 10,000 or more for renting to them. But now, clients don't rent to Section 8, and we don't you to be in Section 8, the government, yes, they are going to pay your rent because of all the economic issues that, but if that particular person refused to go to the program of Section 8, they will stop paying the rent. And once they stop paying, so what happens? Because the person that rented the house may be having an extra, earning an extra income somewhere, but majority of the rent, but that person refused to go with the government program and it is terminated, then you have an issue. That's number one. Then number two, if you happen to deal with Section 8, you will ever regret, because if they mess up your fridge, your dryer and washer, and mess up with the house, for government to pay, you have to repair it. You have to do all those repair, and they have to do inspection of it and make sure that everything is okay. So if you are dealing with a crazy, you will ever regret working with them.
I actually disagree. I love Section 8. Screening your tenants. Okay. I tend to screen very, very hard. Not all bad people are on Section 8. You can find some people who are very, very good people. It's just a matter of screening for the right tenants. And in fact, I like Section 8 because I can charge a premium on rent, because there's a taboo that, oh, don't rent to Section 8 people. So they can't find anybody who can rent to them. But here I am. I say, hey, I'll rent to you if your background is clean. But guess what? I can then charge a premium if everybody in the neighborhood is renting for, let's say, $1,400 a month for the same exact property. I can charge $1,700 to this Section 8 person, because they can't find anybody to rent to them, and they're willing to pay a premium. And sometimes you'll find that the government is willing to pay a premium for on their behalf, just for them to find a place to stay. So I love Section 8.
And and this is something I appreciate about real estate, right? So you get different perspective to things, because there is no one good answer. People are just gonna be speaking based on their experiences. We appreciate you for everything. I think, Brother Baka, please just come and put some words just to thank our brothers, they are members of the community, for taking the time to come here with us. We appreciate you, and we'll prepare for Salatul Zuhr after.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On behalf of MBF and on behalf of the community, we thank you for coming and sharing your experience with us and the advice you've given so far. And inshallah, as the need arises, I believe they'll be reaching out to you, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
So yeah, camp activity forms. Please, if you're just arriving, if you want to do activity,